Hey everybody, it's Tasha, and this is my recap for the Arrow episode of the Crisis on Earth X crossover. Well, this episode had a lot going on, and since it's smack dab in the middle of the crossover, I'm going to start off by doing a quick rundown of the plot, and then I'll touch on the more meaningful moments in the episode, which were the emotional beats between the characters. So, using the radioactive blood that Oliver got after he shot Overgirl in the last episode, Felicity is able to track her location just like she did the doll maker back in season 2. And they find that they're located in a warehouse. So the team heads out and we get an amazing fight sequence. It starts off with Oliver pouting that Barry didn't save him any bad guys. We get Firestorm flying around, Sarah and Alex once again fighting side by side, and Oliver breaking out another kryptonite arrow on Overgirl. Side note, can I just ask where he got the kryptonite? I mean, we know on Kara's Earth, Superman has all of it. So where did Oliver get it? It would have made more sense to say that Kara or Barry went to go get some, but Kara and Alex seem genuinely surprised that Oliver had it. So I hope that's something that gets explained later on. Anyway, while our team is facing off against their evil Earth-X counterparts, we see that one of them is missing, and that's Evil Oliver, who seems to have broken into Star Labs where Felicity and Iris are with Killer Frost and Heatwave. Those two put up a valiant effort to stop him, but they are incapacitated pretty quickly, and that's when Team Arrow arrives on the scene. We get another great fight scene with Dinah, Curtis, and Renee, but they're no match for Evil Oliver, just like they're no match for Green Arrow. Him and his troops manage to capture all the people in Star Labs before he leaves there to show up at the warehouse. And this is when we find out the reason that they're on our Earth and that they went after the prism. And it's because they plan on using it to create a red sun that will weaken Kara. And the reason they need her weak is because they want to operate on her, because Overgirl needs a new heart. She's been exposed to too much solar radiation and it's slowly killing her. Honestly, I could care less. I detest Nazi Kara and everything her evil regime stands for. So them trying to humanize her by showing her love story with evil Oliver did nothing for me. I guess I was supposed to feel something at the idea that Kara is his wife and he's doing what's necessary to save her. But since it's not their sole plan, because they're bent on converting the universe to their way of thinking, I felt nada, just very annoyed. I was actually more moved by Oliver's reaction to the death of Prometheus than his I love yous with his wife. Stephen Amell is really good at wordlessly expressing heartbreak. The plot for part 2 ends with all of our heroes, all the fighters that were in the warehouse, being captured and collared and taken to Earth X, where they're separated from their loved ones. So I want to talk about a couple of moments that really stood out for me. The first being the moment when Oliver goes to talk to Barry and Iris. It's so easy to see why he's the leader, because even in the face of his own pain and insecurities, he pushes it aside so that he can be supportive of Barry and Iris. We also see him being vulnerable with Felicity. He's very much in love and finally in a place where he feels that he deserves to be happy, to have the dream. Oliver's lack of self-worth is something that has been a struggle for him for so long in this show, and I'm sure it's caused countless amounts of frustration to the fans. But he's finally past that, and now that Felicity is unwilling to get married, it's really shaking him and making him question the strength of their relationship. I'm glad that Felicity tries to reassure him that she really does love him, but she doesn't really explain to him what's holding her back. And while I hate that she doesn't tell him, I am glad that we as the audience find out what her holdup is through Iris. This tiny little conversation is so important because, one, they really need to work on developing female friendships in the Arrowverse, which they at least acknowledged in the Flash Girls Night Out episode. And two, because Iris being in a long-term relationship with a superhero would have a unique kind of understanding for where Felicity is coming from. In the end, we find out that Felicity is just scared. Her and Oliver were in a good place when they lived in Ivytown, even when they first came back to Star City, but it quickly devolved into a tornado of misery because right after they got engaged, she got shot and things just got worse from there. She doesn't want to rock the boat or tempt fate and push for more when things are good now. And I can fully understand her having that point of view. Another really great emotional beat in this episode was from Alex, who's struggling with her decision to have a one night stand with Sarah in and in the face of this seemingly perfect relationship that is West Allen, she's really questioning if she made the right decision in ending her relationship with Maggie. And then the last moment that I want to mention is between Jefferson and Professor Stein. We finally find out why Jax is suddenly so intense and withdrawn at the idea of Firestorm separating, and it's because he would miss Dr. Stein. He sees him as family, as a father figure, and he doesn't want to lose that. And it was a really touching moment and very well acted. So, what did you guys think of part 2 of the crossover? Any favorite moments? And what are you most excited to see for in part 3?